Hypatia of Alexandria, a forgotten philosopher and scientist. In a time when women were denied education and their voices silenced, one woman stood at the pinnacle of science, mathematics, and philosophy. Hypatia of Alexandria was not only a scholar, but a symbol of intellectual freedom. But why was she brutally murdered, and why has history nearly erased her name? This is the story of Hypatia, a forgotten genius of the ancient world. Born around 360 CE in the vibrant city of Alexandria, Hypatia was the daughter of Theon, a mathematician and philosopher who taught at the renowned Library of Alexandria. From a young age, she was immersed in the intellectual wonders of the ancient world. But Hypatia wasn't content to simply follow in her father's footsteps. She pushed boundaries, excelling in fields dominated by men and becoming a teacher, inventor, and philosopher in her own right. Her brilliance attracted students from all corners of the Roman Empire. But her life wasn't just one of academic achievement. It was also marked by danger, betrayal, and ultimately, tragedy. Hypatia became the head of the Neoplatonic school in Alexandria, where she taught mathematics, astronomy, and philosophy. She was an expert on the works of great thinkers like Plato, Aristotle, and Ptolemy, but she didn't just study their ideas, she advanced them. Hypatia is credited with improving the design of the astrolabe, an ancient instrument used to study the stars. She also developed mathematical techniques that would later influence European scholars during the Renaissance. She wasn't just a scientist. She was a master communicator, making complex ideas accessible to her students and inspiring them to think critically about the universe and humanity's place within it. But Hypatia lived in turbulent times. Alexandria was a city torn apart by religious and political strife. Paganism, Christianity, and imperial politics clashed violently, and Hypatia, as a pagan philosopher, found herself caught in the middle. Her association with Orestes, the Roman governor of Alexandria, made her a target. Orestes was embroiled in a bitter conflict with Cyril, the Christian bishop of Alexandria. Hypatia's public prominence and her refusal to align with either side made her a scapegoat in this power struggle. Why did a philosopher and scientist become the center of such deadly controversy? And how did her intellectual independence make her enemies? In 415 CE, a mob of Christian zealots incited by political tensions attacked Hypatia. She was dragged from her chariot, brutally beaten and murdered in the streets of Alexandria. Her death wasn't just a loss for her students or her city. It was a symbolic end to the intellectual freedom that Alexandria once represented. After her murder, the city's great tradition of scholarship began to fade. Why was Hypatia's voice silenced? And how might history have been different if her work and her life had been allowed to flourish? For centuries after her death, Hypatia was either forgotten or vilified, her contributions buried under layers of bias and myth. It wasn't until the Enlightenment that her story was rediscovered, and she began to be celebrated as a pioneer of science and philosophy. Today, Hypatia is a symbol of resilience and intellectual courage. She reminds us of the importance of knowledge, critical thinking, and standing firm in the face of oppression. Her story isn't just about the past. It's a call to ensure that the voices of scholars, thinkers, and innovators are never silenced again. What do you think Hypatia's legacy means for the world today? Could her work have changed history if it had survived intact? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you're inspired by Hypatia's story, like this video, subscribe to Lost Pages of Science and hit the bell icon. There are more forgotten pioneers and hidden stories waiting to be uncovered.